Hey, everybody. Welcome to Muscular Development's preview of the Tampa Pro. Joining me, who else could I do this with? Who? None other than Giles Tiger Thomas, all the way from Tiger Towers in the United Kingdom. Welcome, sir.
Hello, Ron. How are you?
Doing great. This is going to come out on Thursday. I'll already be in Tampa. We're going to start the coverage. I'm going to start at the athletes meeting. I stream all the weigh-ins and candid pictures and all that. I'm a goofball. I love all that stuff. So, but you have a global muscle coming out yesterday.
Yeah.
This is like one of those movies where it's all out of order, right? Like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
So, man, you had a packed roster of guests, and a few of them are in the show. You had Beau Lewis. You had Iain, right?
Well, you got Iain by himself, and I thought I'd get Iain with Patrick too, his coach, together.
Yeah, perfect.
So, and I had Milos.
Okay, and we're recording this, being very transparent. We're recording this on a Tuesday. In about an hour, I'll be talking to one of the guys that we're going to be talking about in a minute, Charles Griffin. That should be a good interview. But let's get into it, man. This is a great show. You've been to this show a couple times, I think. There's only two more chances because it's this show and then next weekend. They're the same weekend that you can't do both shows. You would have to either pick the Texas Pro or the Europa Pro in Alicante. And you are going to be doing the webcast commentary for the Europa Pro, correct?
Yeah, I'm doing the live stream commentary for Emilio, because he helps me with the tours and the Olympia All-Star tours. And he asked me, he said, "Look, Giles, would you come over and do the live stream commentary?" And I said, "I'd absolutely love to, So he's a great guy, Emilio. He does fantastic shows, and it's going to be a huge show. And you've got Ruli and Nathan Diasher and Vlad and Theo, and it's going to be an amazing show. Can't wait."
Are you going to Spain for that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, so episode 29 of Global is probably going to come out on I'll speak to Jen, but it'll probably go out on a Friday because I'm not going to get back till the Monday morning. And I usually like to have it all filmed by Sunday, but I'll make sure an episode goes out because I'll be all pumped up from Alicante.
Awesome. So let's get into it. The open class, we're going to start with the open because that's the main event for a lot of people. My favorite for this, and I don't think I'm a Nostradamus here, is Iain Valliere. Man, Iain's looking great. Patrick has done a fantastic job with him. You spotted his potential 3 years ago at the Olympia when he took 13th or 14th. And, we were both kind of scratching our head like, man, he should be higher than that. Because there was a couple guys toward the bottom of the top 10 that I thought he looked better than on that day. But, man, I'm looking at this lineup, and this is a great lineup, but I still have Iain. I have Iain leading the pack in this. I think he's got a hell of a chance. What say you, Giles?
I totally agree with you, mate. He's got to be the odds-on favorite. I mean, he was 14th at Olympia, and he looked sensational. And then 2019, because I talked about it in the interview, Global, yesterday, and I said, you finally, 2020, you finally got over the curse of 2018, because 2019, he tumbled away, and then he was kind of, he never looked as good as he did at that Olympia. Then 2020 happened, and he got the 5th at Tampa. Then he won the New York Pro, 7th at the Olympia. I mean, that package he brought to the Olympia was absolutely sensational. And when you're knocking on that top 6, the door of the top 6, and obviously I'm very good friends with Patrick too, and I was very excited to hear that those two were working together when I think they started working together a week out from the 2019 Portugal, and then but Patrick said really had chance to learn Iain's body, and Patrick was kind of he said it takes a lot to get out of me. He says, but every single progress picture he's been sending me, he said it's just this prep has gone like a dream, and the thing is, have you seen the way Patrick reminds me of Sean Clarida, where he's just literally all year round, every single training video you see, the guy is so focused and on it. I mean, obviously winning the New York Pro, 7th Olympia, his confidence is sky high, and he's very focused. I mean, and his face looks really drawn when I'm speaking to him. And he kind of had that kind of quiet, cool confidence. He was just like, he wasn't tired. His energy was good. He was focused. He was with it when I spoke to him. And he's the odds-on favorite. I'm just so excited. I think he's going to be the guy that's going to really level up this year. I'm trying to think who it was. Yeah, I think he'll be the one that will really shock everyone this year. And I think it will be, I don't want to say easy win, but I think it'll be a clear win.
Yeah. I mean, no disrespect. I always have to say no disrespect to the other guys. Guys, just because I think someone might beat you doesn't mean, some people get so mad. Like, how dare you? Just my opinion, guys. I mean, who am I? I'm just a knucklehead. I don't know anything.
Feel free to slide into my DMs and abuse me.
So next up, the guy I want to talk about, we haven't seen Charles Griffin on stage since 2019. Man. So yeah, like I said, I'll talk to him later. But he's had a pretty good career so far. He's got one pro win. He won the Muscle Mayhem show. Second at the Indy Pro to Kuklo. Second at the Muscle Mayhem to Victor Martinez. Last time we saw him was the Tampa Pro in 2019, which the top two were Dexter Jackson and Luke Sando. He was seventh that year. But I follow him. I don't know if you've been seeing his recent pictures. He's looking massive, especially the back. He's putting up a lot of back shots because I think he's really proud of the improvements he's made to his back. That's the guy I think might shock a lot of people and be the one to really push Iain at this show.
Well, he's like Iain. I mean, he's not got the best structure, but I tell you what, he's huge, and his condition is like Phil Heath's, that quality, that real deep separation. And I mean, he's been shredded for. I mean, 6 weeks out he was shredded, and he's actually grown into the show as well. But he's another one. He actually beat Valliere at the 2018 Olympia, so it was a bit of a rematch.
Oh wow.
Do you know what I mean? Because he got 30 and Iain got 40 that year. That was at 2018. But obviously they've, Iain's kind of obviously with his victory last year at the New York Pro, he's kind of, and then Charles kind of stepped away. He took a bit of time off. I interviewed him on Globe Muscle a few months ago. I love Charles. He's such a great guy. And he said he got into things like cycling and mountain walking and all these different things. And then he said all of a sudden he just got that hunger back and that focus back. And now he kind of found his purpose again and he's back. And I think I like about him is this, just like he said, his back. I messaged him on Instagram and I said, if you spread your wings and you jumped off a building, would you glide? Would you glide? I said, because his back, it looks crazy. I mean, if you saw that in a photo, you'd think, oh, that's Photoshop. But then you see videos and he's not Photoshop. But he's another one. He's another like Valliere. Every time you look at his training videos, he's just got that focus. He's got that focus. And I'm so excited to see him back. And I mean, I think he's going to be a front runner. I'd be very surprised if he wasn't top three. 100%.
Just so you guys know, if you're going to look for him on Instagram or something, it's Griffin with an E at the end. It's not Griffin like you normally, like our good friend Chris Griffin. It's Griffin. So take note of that, guys. Maxx Charles. I'm glad Maxx is going to keep going because he looked really good in Chicago, or is it in Atlanta for the Chicago Pro, I should say. Third place. Condition was on point. There were even a few people in the crowd that were saying they thought Maxx could have won, but certainly he's at a very high level. He's going to be in the first call out. He's going to push these guys, and his posing is a little better now because Lee Haney fixed a couple of his back poses.
Yeah. Beautiful. Amazing.
Capture, but yeah,
Maxx. I had Milos on, and he said that he said I've worked so long with Maxx. He says, and one 30-minute session with Lee Haney, he says, and all his poses. I was so pissed off. He said Haney just fixed it in 30 minutes, what he'd spent months trying to do.
Right. Yeah. Well, he was. I don't know how often he sees Maxx in person because Lee was getting in there and grabbing his head and twisting it and pushing. He was actually moving him around like a mannequin, and that's how you need to do it. I don't know how these guys do their posing. I know a lot of people do posing instruction via Skype or Zoom or anything, but personally, I do a little bit of that. I've done some posing coaching, and I find it's best to get there, and sometimes you got to move the people around because they just don't. It's hard for them to get it unless you say, "No, do this." Boom! You whack them. You shove this. Kick their leg over. Whatever it takes. Get in the right pose. But Maxx, yeah, I'm excited to see Maxx. I think he's getting a little more confident. That's one thing I want to see more from Maxx is you do have to show a little confidence. You do look like you're there to win. Yeah. You don't have to necessarily be like put a fake smile on or anything, but just like a stone face, which he often has like a poker face. Like there's like no expression going on. I don't know, Maxx, you're awesome. Show it, earn it. Own that stage guy. Please. Why do you say it? S'il vous plaît? You took French, so took Spanish, which worked out for me. Next up, this is a guy we've talked about before because you spotted him last year at the Romania show, I think, and I had no idea who he was till the Indy Pro show. Mohammed with a K, Mohammed El-Elam, originally from Egypt, now living in Russia, St. Petersburg of all places. But man, he's very, very good, very thick, dense, proportionate. Just that's a big, rugged bodybuilder physique. I expect him in the first call out for sure. What do you think?
Mohammed, he's here for the points. Because he got second at Indy Pro to Justin Rodriguez. Don't forget, he actually got points from being fourth in Romania last year.
Oh, okay.
Regan Grimes won. Vlad was second. I can't remember who was third. can't remember who said, but he was fourth. And he's been working I mean, I'll be honest, I saw some pictures and he is starting to look a little bit burnt out. If I'm really honest, he was training with Derek Lunsford and the guy looks tired. I mean, he has regressed, I think, from the shows. That Indy, if he could bring his Indy look to this, which I doubt, I hope if he can get enough points to secure his Olympia qualification here, because I think he's in the top 3 on the point standing. Okay. I hope then he can at least try and cut back a little bit and then try and do at least have a couple of weeks to get his body fresh a bit, because you could see he's really starting to struggle now. I mean, I saw some pictures and he looked very depleted and tired. But I mean, I tell you what, I mean, how long has he been out in America for by himself? He's been pretty much, I know he said, I think he was staying with some friends in California, but he did Cali, he did Indy, he did New York, what did he do I think he did New York Pro as well, did he?
Yeah, I think he was it. Yeah, he did New York, he just didn't do Chicago.
He said to me, to be honest, these Egyptian guys, man, he's like Mohammed Shaban and Hassan Mustafa. These guys, just the grit they have, the determination they have, just to keep going. I mean, Shaban said on Glove Muscle episode 26, said last week, he says, I'll die first. He says, rather than give up. He says, I want to be in that Olympia. That's my goal. I will not stop until I get there. So Mohammed loved the guy as well. He's a great guy, big guy. But I don't expect to see what he brought to Indy, because I mean, he could have, he was very close to Justin Rodriguez. You were at Indy.
I got to make a note of that, because now I got to go back and make a good mini video out of that. That's a great quote, Mohammed.
Say it was with Ahmed Wadani. Wadani, he says, I'll die first. So
from Mohammed, we go to Mohammed Shaban, also Egyptian, right? Isn't he Egyptian too?
Yeah, there's tons of them.
Everybody's Egyptian.
Mohammed, Hassan Mustafa. Yeah. Obviously got Rami as well. You got Elaman.
Yeah, dude, they're cranking him out.
I
mean, it's funny because when I was following the sport as a much younger man, they would always win their classes at the World Amateur Championships, and they never took their pro cards because it was a similar situation where the government was giving them a salary and all that, so it made sense. But now we're seeing, and we had no idea how good these guys were, because they never went to the Olympia, they never went to the pro shows. We're really seeing how good these Egyptian bodybuilders are now. I mean, we got Mr. Olympia.
Apparently, I spoke to, if you watch that interview with Ahmed and Shaban, apparently there's a couple more that are on their way over. He said there's us, because I mentioned the 5, and I said, you 5 have got to get on stage at the Olympia. See if Dan will let you walk on stage, you, Rami, and just get with the Egyptian flag. Get a professional photo, because how cool would that be? The King, Rami, and all the Egyptians. Because I tell you what, I mean, was it 5 or 6 in the Olympia this year that will be, Egyptian? I mean, it's just incredible. I think maybe the win for Rami has kind of given them a little bit of maybe it's put more of a spotlight. Maybe they are getting more support from over there, but apparently there's a few more, bubbling under the surface that we're going to see very soon. So I'm very excited about this.
Wow. Yeah, that's probably coming up in 2022. So Shaban, he's going too. This is like his 4th or 5th show of the season. Like I told you, I had never seen him. I saw him we were at the 2019 Olympia, which was he was not feeling well. I think there were things going wrong with his prep or something, but I wasn't overly impressed with him at the judging in Chicago. But then 3.5 hours later, he shows up at the finals, much tighter. Because his legs were fine. His legs were nice and separated, crisp, but his upper body was kind of blurry looking at the judging. And I was like, he's got a great physique, but man, that condition's not gonna carry him today. But 3 hours later, poof, he shows up and it's all dried out. So very impressed with him. He's got no weak poses. Man, another big dude. I'd like to see him do well at this show. I think he will.
I think for me, he peaked at Puerto Rico when he was second to Akeem. I think he peaked there. But like you said, at the judging, when I saw him in the judging, I was watching the live stream, I was looking at the pictures. In that riddle bicep, he looked like he'd regressed in his condition. And then, like you said, he came back at the night show and he looked absolutely fantastic. And then he moved to 4th, didn't he? Moved up to 4th.
Yeah.
But I mean,
he got ahead of Hassan, who I thought Hassan had him beat very clearly, but not after that. There you
go. But here's another guy who's really, like you said, he's going all out. He's determined to get to the Olympia. So training with Charles Glass, his coach is Andrew Vu, I believe.
Yeah.
He's training with Ahmed Wadani as well, because Ahmed Wadani's staying at his house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's staying at his house. They're training together. Ahmed's been training with Charles Glass, and he says we are brothers. You support each other and all that. And so it's in California, because he lives out there now, doesn't he?
Don't tell me is Ahmed Egyptian too? No.
Yeah.
Is he really? Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah, but he lives in Kuwait.
In Egypt, you guys are killing it. Next guy, I got to talk about Phil Plahar. Man, what a nice guy. I hope I grab an interview with him at the athlete meeting. So he came to Chicago, and I thought he was in pretty damn good shape. Big dude. He's like 270, 275 on stage, 6', 6'1", super wide shoulders, back, just a massive guy with a really good shape and structure. And he was in the third call out, and I was sitting there scratching my head. And of course, I'm sure his wife Patty was tearing her hair out in the audience when that happened. But he didn't get a good look. I hope he gets a much, much better look at this show, because he's got a physique that warrants it. I mean, he was I think he was fourth last year in Tampa. He was finally starting getting some good placing. So I hope he scratches and claws his way to another top 5 here, because he's a hell of the Jamaican tank, and that's a very, very appropriate nickname because he's built like a damn tank. Yeah, you've seen Phil a couple times now, right?
Yeah, I had him on Gold Muscle as well. Yeah, lovely guy. I was really, for him and Joe Mackey, I was heartbroken, because I was like, you could see them. I was looking, they were in the background, and you could just see them like trying not to let it show on their face. They were so disappointed. And for me, Phil looked a bit better proportion this year. Like before, he was very chest and back dominant, and I think felt like he needed more bigger arms and legs. And this year he came back with bigger arms and legs, and he got kind of just whacked right down. And obviously maybe the competition was tougher, sorry. But yeah, so anyway, I saw some pictures he posted the other day, and I messaged him. I said, just keep going, mate, keep going. And he said, I'm going to bring my best to Tampa. And maybe I just hope, fingers crossed, he gets better looking, because I don't want to see him out of the top 10 in a show like this. I mean, he's good enough to be top 10, definitely. I just hope he's not third call, because it's very disheartening for him, and to watch that as well. I feel really bad for him, when they've gone away for a year, they've worked hard, they've made improvements, they come back and then douche. They come, must be very, very, but a lot of mind games for them, So I'm happy he's doing the show, and I hope he's peaked absolutely beautifully.
Yeah. Dorian Haywood, I believe he's already in the top 3 for points too. I think he is, because he's done a few shows. Maybe he just wants to really lock down his Olympia qualification. Dorian's had a good season, good past couple seasons. He's had a lot of top 5 showings. He's finally getting a handle on his condition, keeping his midsection under control. This is a guy, he's, as you used to say, on the rise, Dorian Haywood, chiropractor out of Colorado. Yeah, what do you want to say about Dorian?
Well, he's had 2 4th places. He had 4th in Indy, 4th in the New York Pro. Here's a guy who's really leveled up this year. I mean, he wasn't even scratching top 10. In fact, I remember in the Tampa in 2017 when he came out, and I thought, even though he needed a little bit more back thickness and the stomach was a bit sticky, I remember thinking, why is this guy not getting called out? Because he wasn't even in the top 12. It was like 14th, 15th that year. And I was thinking, this guy's really good, huge shoulders, thick, but like you said, he's managed to get the stomach under control. He still needs to bring his back up. He still needs to get his back shots. But the conditioning and the fullness and the peaking is a lot better this year. So, I mean, even if he doesn't get an amazing placing here, he's definitely moved up this year in the rankings in terms of his physique and where he's placing.
Yeah. Kevin Jordan, big dude, former NPC national champion. I don't think we've seen Kevin for a while. If we have, he hasn't done that well. But man, that's a guy with a ton of muscle, great shape and structure. I think if he shows up in really good condition, because from what I recall, the couple times I've seen him, I wanted better condition out of him. So if he brings that, yeah, he could be a surprise too. He's definitely got the physique for it.
I was looking at the pictures and his condition. I know you can only tell so much when you're looking at certain body parts, but he looks in fantastic condition. And he's had some good placings. He's had some very good placings. He's had a few top 5 placings. Okay. I forget how long he's been away. I think it's at least 2 years. But yeah, I'm interested to see this guy on how he stacks up and whether he's made the improvements.
Yeah, because I saw him in Tampa at the New York Pro last year. He was just spectating, but massive. He had gotten even bigger. He was already a big guy. A couple more guys we want to talk about. Korean Sung Chul Lee. And I apologize to Sung in my Arnold preview, because you know that when Samson Doda had that whole experience last year, that he was stuck in a hotel room for like a month in South Korea. They were delivering him like noodles. He couldn't even get the food, couldn't train. And then he got beat by a Korean guy, and there was no photos, there were no videos. So I'm thinking, man, this Korean guy probably sucked. They probably screwed Samson over. And then that's what I thought, because I thought it was all politics. Really? Those Koreans. Sorry.
He's awesome.
He showed up at the Olympia. I said, wow, okay. Yeah. Well, actually, once I even saw pictures of, they did eventually release some pictures of that Korea show, the Monsters M. And I was like, oh, okay, this guy's actually way better than I thought he was. He definitely, No offense, Samson, but I think he definitely deserved to beat Samson. He's got a real full round muscle bellies, of course, tiny joints, Korean, massive legs, calves. At the Olympia, I was very, very impressed with him. And I'm curious to see how he can do in this lineup.
Yeah, I think he's fantastic. I mean, he beat Antoine Vaillant. Who else did he beat at the Olympia last? I mean, 12th at Olympia. He wasn't completely annihilated at the Olympia. I really rate him. I think he's fantastic. I mean, his shoulders remind me of '94 Kevin Levrone. That his shoulders are literally the size of his head.
Yeah,
he's got 3 heads. One in the middle. But I'd like after last year, if I was to analyze his physique, I'd like to see a little bit more going on in his back. I think his back shots are a bit bland, but everything else, his side chest, he's most muscular, he's tall, he's big. I mean, I had him on Globe Muscle with a translator a few months ago, and he just sat there and he's just so wide, and he's another guy that's probably going to be underrated. And but if he comes in like really, really good condition, he's going to rub out some big, big names here.
Yeah, and he needs to sort his tan because I remember at the Olympia it wasn't dark enough. So
yeah,
go for an extra coat. So last guy in the open we'll talk to about is Giles Thomas coming back. I haven't seen him on stage in a while. You said he tore his pec and he's coming back from that?
Yeah, he tore his pec, but I've looked at some pictures and because he completely came off social media for a while and I couldn't keep her because I really like this guy. He made top 10 at the Tampa. I think it was with him and Sean Smith. I think the 9th and 10th at the Tampa, might have been last or the year before.
Yeah.
But I really like thick, rugged. I mean, there's this one video he's put on Instagram recently, reposted it, and I said he looked like a superhero, mate. I mean, he looks like he's just everything. He's got everything. I mean, he's not missing anything. It's kind of like Branch Warren thickness and gnarly, grainy detail. I mean, it's a savage looking physique. And I've looked at his pec tear, and it really is. It's a well, when I say good, I mean it's not that noticeable. I can't even tell he's got one, So he's obviously had some good surgery. I'm trying to get him on Globe Muscle. I think he's prepped by, I'm sure it's AJ Sims now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's prepped. I think it's AJ Sims. I apologize if that's incorrect, but I'm sure it's AJ. Yes, it is. Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah, because I've spoke to him and I said, I'm really excited for this guy. I think he's underrated.
Yeah, we'll see how he does. Now, 212 division. This might actually be more competitive than the Open. Man, we got some guys I thought were done for the season, but they're still going. Well, let's start with Beau Lewis, who's last year's New York Pro Champ. Wow, he's been working hard to improve. I stay in touch with Beau, and conditions coming along, everything. I have him as this is no offense because Austin. There's some really good guys in this lineup, but I think it's probably going to come down to him and Ahmed for the battle. Although Austin might be there too, but Beau, man. Massive upper body, chest, arms, and shoulders are already really good. He's worked very hard on his back. He's got a really, really good back shots now. Legs, he's worked hard on his legs. He's one of those guys that you tell him, you give him some constructive criticism, he goes to work. And he's been training. His training partner is Brandon Curry.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yeah, so he's got some good guidance, good people in his camp, in his corner. So, yeah, that's my pick to win right now is Beau.
Same here, mate. Same here. Honestly, he sent me some. Was it on what day is it now? Tuesday. On Sunday, I interviewed him, and he DM'd me some pictures, and I he stood in the shower. The good light. He's got trunks on.
Yeah.
And honestly, I couldn't believe. I mean, that side chest, his hamstring drop now. It's just, I was really looking for a fault and I wanted to give him some feedback, but all I could say was, holy shit, what have you done? And I think he said on Sunday he was 213, so he's going to be right on the limit. But do you know what? I am so impressed with this guy. And hasn't he come up so fast?
Yeah. And
was it a Masters a couple of years ago or something? Or what was the story? He
turned pro in, I think it was 2018 at the Universe. He won the 35 and over at the Universe and the 40. That's right. The 40 weight class and overall. So he was already 40 when he turned pro.
Yeah.
So he's 43 now. Usually guys that turn pro as masters don't really amount to much in the sport. When they try to do open shows, they get lost. But Beau, you wouldn't even know he was 43 looking at him.
No, I mean, and honestly, and he's been working with Kenny Wallach for his posing. And he said, because he showed me, he was talking about his frontal bicep. And then afterwards he sent me the picture and I went, shit, he's right. And it's like, he reminds me of the guys that would have done well as open in the 90s.
Yeah. And another
his physique, he's got such beautiful lines, and the more development he's got, his lines are even more enhanced. I mean, his side tricep, the way his chest and everything comes down in that beautiful V. It's like He's so impressive. He's got such quality size and muscle. I mean, but he's another guy. He kind of went off radar. He just went to ground. He just worked. He won the New York Pro. He got 9th in the Olympia. Yeah. So this guy's a top 10 Olympia guy, and he's won a big pro show at the New York Pro. So he's my favorite to win this, and I'm very excited to see not just whether he wins it, but also how he does at Olympia, because I think he could be top 6 Olympia this year. Also
another Andrew Vu client. Just throwing that out there. Austin Carr, man. Austin, I haven't seen him since, I think it was the last time he competed, was Chicago Pro last year when he took second only to Keon Pearson. Not a bad guy to take second to. Austin was a little lower body dominant. He's got these massive quads, incredible sweep to them and everything. So he's been working on his upper body, and the shots I've been seeing on Instagram, he's definitely, I don't know if it quite matches, but it's very close to matching now, upper and lower, the balance, the proportions between the two. He's pretty deadly. I think he's going to give Beau a real run for the money here.
Do you know what? Only today I actually saw the pictures of how he's looking now. And he looks like a 212 that says, I'm going to be moving up to the open. That's how much size he's put on. And you said about his legs. Well, his legs are even bigger now. But so is the upper body. I didn't think there was much of a disparity between his upper and lower body, because he's got his frontal bicep, his front lat spread. He's got that kind of Weapon X, that kind of real sort of crazy lines, tiny waist. But I didn't pay much attention to him even in the lead up going into. In fact, I remember you bringing him up on one of our previews last year, and you said, "Watch out for this guy." And then I went and searched for him, and all I could see was his incredible legs. And he really did. He got second at Chicago, so you were right on that one. And I've been sort of paying a little bit of attention to him. But to be honest, I don't see how he's still 212 unless he was like 190 last year. But he looks too big. I mean, he looks too big for 212 now. So if he makes weight, he's going to look very impressive up there.
He'll make it. I'm sure they all make the weight. I've never seen anybody not figure out how to make the weight, but he probably will be. I see him moving up to open the next year or two for sure. It's funny. The first place I saw him was when Lunsford won the USA 2017. Austin was in the classic physique category.
Wow.
It was hilarious because I actually posted a pic. I had no idea who he was, but I'm sitting there taking pictures, and I posted on the MD Instagram. I said, for those of you who don't think classic guys need legs, check out this guy. Because he already is ridiculous.
Imagine if he'd been men's physique and he's hiding those legs.
Hey, maybe some of those guys do have pretty big legs. I mean, we don't know.
I've seen Ryan Terry's legs, and they're incredible. Really crazy shape and lines. And it's like, you can't even show them off.
Go to classic Ryan. Come on. Anyway, John Jewett. John is not giving up. John's still pushing for that Olympia spot.
Wow.
And I think he's figured out a way to come in much fuller without sacrificing much or any condition, because he was the conditioning king in at the last few shows I've been to. But people were upset. Why'd Keon win? He wasn't that shredded. John was shredded. It's not a conditioning contest. It's not about who just shows up with the most shredded glutes or something. But John, I just wanted to see a little fuller look from him, and I really hope we see that this time in Tampa.
Well, I mean, obviously he's done a few shows now. Was it Indy, New York, Chicago? And Chicago, I noticed he was getting a little bit of that fullness back because his legs had more pop to them, because his legs are sensational. But I know as soon as I started watching the live stream, I was like, his quads are coming. They're starting to fill out again. But the upper body's still not popping like it needs to. I think because he said at the 2019 Olympia when he took 4th, so he's been top 5 Olympia. Yeah. He was bang on 211.9. But for this, he said this year he's come down to like 205, and I don't think it suits him. I think he needs to get back up there. So if he could come in, because he's kind of got 6-7 pounds to play with there. So if he came in that few pounds heavier, I don't want to see him sacrifice any condition. I don't think he will. I don't think his body would hold on to fat or water at this point, because he's been dieting and he's so depleted by this point. But I would love to see the legs and the upper body really popping, because and also I just hope he gets to the Olympia, because when he was so devastated in 2019, imagine that, winning was it Tampa or Texas, and then he got to Tampa, I think it was Tampa. 4th at Olympia. 2020 comes back to the Olympia and he gets like 13th, 14th, and I mean it was like what could that do to your mental state? And then obviously he's come back this year and he's really determined to get back up there, and he's looked so good. I mean, there was a couple of shows I thought he was going to win it watching the live stream, and then he was getting 3rds and 4ths. Yeah. And it's like, oh my God, So I just hope, he's going to be in condition. His posing is going to be great, but I just want to see that upper body fuller.
Bring it. Come on, John. Kareth Bajo from Connecticut. A lot of you guys don't know who he is. Look him up. It's Kerritbajjo. Much better than people give him credit for. He was a very, very strong third place in Atlanta for the Chicago Pro. This is so confusing. He's definitely someone to watch. He's very thick, very dense. He's the only one who really pushed Keon in terms of the muscle volume and that density that Keon has. A lot of people had him as high as second, but man, he's going to be up there again. I have no doubt in my mind. You saw him.
Can I get him on Global before you get him for online, please?
Do it. Yeah,
no, I was going to message him last week actually, but I was thinking, shit, I better get there before you do.
we have to communicate better, dude.
Yeah, yeah. We do it most of the time. Sometimes an overlap, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, with Kerrith, I was impressed, really impressed. Like you said, he's a low-profile guy, needs more publicity and promotion, and maybe needs to get himself out there more and get better known. But it'd be crazy to think that he's not a factor in this contest.
Yeah. Oh, he will be. Next up, one of the veterans of the 212 division, Giles Thomas. I give Guy a lot of credit. He's probably done, I'm going to guess, like 50 pro shows at this point. He's been doing this a while. I don't know if his body's starting to decline or if he's going through some injuries or anything, but I don't see quite the same fullness and pop to his physique that I used to see a few years back. He was always known for conditioning, for these big, massive legs. And he's a hard worker. He beats a lot of people by simply outworking them. I know he does. And he had that funny video where he was hack squatting and the guy's right in his face. And that was hilarious. But that went viral. But Giles Thomas, if he can bring some of that fullness and pop back, he could definitely be a factor in this.
I remember seeing Guy at the 2012 British Grand Prix. That was nearly 10 years ago.
Wow.
And he's won the New York Pro. He's been top 10 Olympia multiple times.
Yep.
He was second at Puerto Rico. It wasn't a hugely strong field,
right.
But not Puerto Rico. He was second at Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
It's great to see him back. It's great to see him up there. It's nice to see him still competing. So, but I don't know how he's going to fit in amongst this. I mean, I'd like to see him. Yeah, I hope he just looks he's in good condition, which I'm sure he will be.
Yeah. Jason Lowe, IFBB Broku on Instagram, young dude. Yeah. He's not as young as I thought he was. He's got this baby face, but he's actually like 34 or something already. You wouldn't know it. I told him you could still play a high school kid. Huh?
Don't make me feel old. 34's not old.
Well, I'm older than all of y'all. But Jason looked really good in Chicago, but it was a tough line. It wasn't Chicago, it was Atlanta. At the Chicago Pro, tough lineup though. Didn't do as well as he wanted. Condition wasn't quite where it should have been, and he knows it. And he's been working very hard ever since. He's definitely going to come in sharper for this. So I wish Jason the best. Hell of a physique on this guy.
9th place. I don't get that. Chicago. I thought he looked really good. He said he had too much in his stomach or something in it. But I mean, I just posted a video on MD Instagram, the IGTV, and I took that bit out where I'm talking about him, what I'm commenting on the live stream, and I'm going, I just don't get it. But because he looked thick, he's got a lovely shape. He's definitely a stage physique. He looks better on stage than he does on Instagram, which is very unusual. So he's an anomaly in which is kind of what you want if you're a bodybuilding competitor, Right. But I can't. 9th place. I thought that was harsh, but I just hope he's super sharp. The waist is nice and small, and the stomach's nice and flat. Because I really like his physique. I mean, he really shocked me last year when he took second to Dektrick at the New York Pro. I really rate him, so I just want to see him. I want to see him back up there in the top 5.
Yeah, 9th was very harsh. I agree. I would have had him definitely a couple spots higher than that. Last but not least, in the 212, this guy could push Beau and Austin and Jewett very hard. Might even win. Ahmed El-Siddhani, he's also Ahmed Wardani, right? It's the same person.
Ahmed Wardani.
Yeah, I mean, I was confusing. I was saying these two guys look a lot alike.
What are the odds?
But I didn't want to say that because you think they all look alike, all these Egyptians? No, or whatever. But man, he looked fantastic. Second place to who won the 212? I can't remember. It was Keon. Second place to Keon. Yeah, and man, there were arguments. He's got for a win. I'm not taking anything away from Keon, but what a beautiful physique on this guy. Just the shape, the structure. Keon, same thing. They both have very, very pretty shape, tiny little waist, flaring lats, flaring quads. Ahmed was in a little better condition. I think Keon was definitely bigger and fuller, and that carried him to the win for sure. But Ahmed's no joke. Ahmed could win this too, man. He's very good.
I'm really rooting for Ahmed. I think he's got probably funny because I also say the same about Keon, about the best frontable bicep in the business.
Yeah.
I mean, it just looks like a cartoon character. It looks like he's been drawn. But I thought he looked fantastic at Chicago. His tan was perfect. If you watch the Shaban and Ahmed interview I did last week for Global, he said that the criticism was his posing. His posing was very sloppy. He wasn't holding his poses. He was moving too quickly. But I said to him, just slow your posing. You can fix that in an afternoon. So just hit your compulsory slowly, hold them, do a Rami, do what your fellow Egyptian countryman did and hold his poses like he did at the Olympia last year. Yeah. But it makes a difference, when things are close and they're looking around and you're already moving to your next pose and they can't see what you look like, especially if you're a physique they're not that familiar with. Right. Really hold your poses and let them see your physique. So I would love to see him win this. Or at least get enough points to get through to the Olympia, because there's another guy that could be top 6 Olympia. He's really, pick a fault on him. He doesn't really have a fault. His conditioning he's polished. He's wide shoulders, tiny waist, huge arms, great separation, beautiful midsection. His abs they're like a washboard, It's so. Yeah, I'm really rooting for the Egyptian guys.
Yeah, Beau's my boy. I love Beau. Good, I consider him a friend, but Ahmed's just I got to give this guy credit. He's just, what a physique on that guy. So let's move. Speaking of physique, we'll move into classic physique. Making his comeback, hasn't been seen on stage since the 2020 Arnold Classic, where he was the heavy favorite but ended up 3rd place. Steve Laurius. Wow. Yeah, Steve's a guy with so much potential. I think he's like the poster boy for classic. The way he's built, the structure, the tiny waist, the wide shoulders, just man. And he was well under the weight limit before, and now he's going to be right at the weight limit for his height. So he's put on some size, which I think is going to help him. Because when he lost to George Peterson at the 2019 Arnold, and a lot of people were saying, well, it's because George was bigger and everything, and then that led to a whole huge argument. Why are we judging classic physique the same way we judge bodybuilding? It should have different ideals, different attributes we're looking for. So he was actually part of the reason I think classic physique judging had to take a stand as to what they were really going to reward. But I'm looking forward to seeing him. It's been a long time. It's been over a year and a half. And especially if he's put some size on, because I thought he just needed more front to back. He needed more chest and back, because arms are awesome. Legs were great. He was just a little shallow, sideways. So looks like he's improved quite a bit.
Was it the Arnold Classic Lot 2020 that he did?
Yeah, he took 3rd behind Alex Cimbernero and Terrence Ruffin. Yeah.
Because I remember people saying his conditioning wasn't good, and I was watching it. I was sat there with you watching it, and I was like, his conditioning looked really good to me, and I just couldn't get why people were saying, no, he's off, he's blown it.
He was flat.
And Neil was going crazy in the front row. Neil was screaming and going crazy and hold your poses and really, really kind of giving him instruction and stuff. And I was like, I think he looks great. I think he looks absolutely fantastic. And to be honest, I've completely forgotten about him until I saw, literally, I think it was today that I saw that he was doing the Tampa. So I'm really excited to see this guy back, because there's another one that, like a Chris Bumstead or the Terrence Ruffin, who really embodies that classic. I really love his physique. I think he's a great poser. But I remember actually the pre-judge, I remember I was saying to you that he was really not fighting for it. He gave up. Do you know what I mean? Whereas there was Ruffin and Cambronero, and they were really, and you could see he was dejected. So I hope he really kind of gets his game head on and really kind of, really poses properly and really holds his poses and kind of gives this and doesn't sort of, gives it a bit more of oomph on stage, because he's got such a beautiful physique. And I know Steve loves him, doesn't he? We've had him on the front cover of MD. Because Steve's got a good eye and he really rates these. He's got a really good eye for, talent, and sometimes I know Steve really rates him. So I know, so I'd love to see him win this.
Yeah. The only guy, it's a huge class. There's 36 men in the show, in this division. It's a big division. Classic. But the guy I see on the list, because I didn't recognize most of the names, but I just saw him take 2nd place at the Chicago Pro to Darwin, the new guy from Colombia. It's Mohammed Amin. He was going by Mohammed Amin because the last name, people are going to make jokes about it. It's Fakh. Fuck. But man, he almost, it was very close between him and that Darwin guy. And Darwin's fantastic. I think it just came down to Darwin had a little bit more narrow waist, a little bit smaller joints, which made things flare off the off the bone a little bit better, but Mohammed is very good. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the one who ends up in the final. They always bring out the end of the judging, Weinberger or Tyler. They always bring out the top two guys one more time to try to really figure it out who deserves this win. I think it could come down to those two because Mohammed, what a class of physique on this guy. Whew.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Men's physique.
I'm blown away by all the names I don't know.
I know.
There's so many there's so many people jumping into classic now and getting the pro cards. It's just like I'm not used to seeing that many names I don't know. And even at Chicago, the guys in the top 3, I didn't know any of them. And I'm just thinking, and they're really good, really good. Very, very popular class. This
has been a year where a few shows I've been to already, people I never heard of ended up either winning the class or being second, third. And I was like, wow, I don't know who he was. Didn't know who that was until now, but I know who he is now. So men's physique, Michael Anderson's in it. He's very good. George Brown, very good. Always in the first call out. But we have Andre Ferguson entering the show. He's a 3-time Arnold Classic champion. He's been runner-up at the Olympia second. He's been second at the Olympia twice. On paper, Andre's got this down. But we'll see. You never know what can happen.
100%.
100%. Last division I want to talk about, and women's bodybuilding is going to be great. I just didn't know a lot. I don't comment when I don't know much about the athletes. Yeah. Same thing for women's physique, wellness. I didn't know any of the names on them. I'm sure they're all gorgeous.
Renee Jewett, John Renee
Jewett. Oh, okay. Yeah, she was third in Chicago. She could.
Yeah, she's great.
Hope she gets a win here, man. I only saw one woman on the list from Brazil, so she's got a chance. Terrible. Isn't that terrible? I shouldn't say.
It's true.
Speaking of Brazil, how often do you have the reigning Olympia bikini champion who doesn't need to qualify? She's all set. I got to find out. I got to ask her, why are you doing the Tampa Pro? But Elisa, they call her Isa Piccini. She is the Olympia champion, and she's doing this show. So that's probably my favorite for the bikini win. Probably.
Ron, do you remember when we were at the 2019 Olympia? I was sat with it was you, me, George Farrar, Dennis James. Was sat there, had the sheets. Yeah. And I think you were doing some filming or something. We're taking it in turns. And I remember just looking up and I went, number 38, she'll win. And I didn't even know she was at that time. I know she'd done the Arnold Classic that year. And I looked up and it just, my eyes were just drawn to her. So she's a 2019 Olympia champion. She was 6th last year. She dropped 6th.
Oh, did she?
I was shocked by. Yeah, she dropped 6th at Olympia.
Well, that's right. Janet Leigh is the Olympia champion.
And I heard Janet Leigh's not doing the Olympia this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe she's done. Maybe she's won it and she wants to.
I mean, Angelica Teixeira, she's pregnant. That's a good excuse not to do the Olympia.
She's probably not going to do it. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's it. You're right. Okay, so she wasn't. I take it all back. So, guys, in your comment section, I hope you watch the whole video before you tear me a new one. But she still, as an Olympia champ, she doesn't need to qualify. I don't think they need to qualify. I know that's how it is for the Mr. Olympia. You never need to qualify again.
She's confident.
Yeah. However, Laura Lee Chapados, who just won in Chicago, so she had no reason. She's going to keep going. She's going to go try to get another one.
It's Laura Lee versus Isa. I mean, and Laura Lee really shocked me at the Chicago. I didn't know she was going to turn up that good.
Yeah.
I mean, I was editing a thing for Buff Bombshell, and the girls were doing some commentary from Chicago, and I was watching it, and doing like a T walk, and it was like I walk or whatever they call it, IT walk or whatever. Yeah. And she just looks sensational. I mean, she's almost got like wellness level glutes.
Yeah.
But her shape is just beautiful. She's so good. And to be honest, I think she could be a factor for the Olympia this year. I think she could be a factor for the win.
She was second place at her first Olympia back in 18 or 19.
18,
so, 18, yeah. No, so yeah, she could definitely push Isa. And that's the thing, nobody's unbeatable, guys. It all depends on who shows up that day. When you get to these top people in any division, it can go any which way, and it often does.
I've seen current Olympia bikini champions come back and get 5th and 6th. I saw it with Natalia Mello in 2013. When I think she got like 4th or 5th at the Arnold or something, and it was like the current Olympia champion, right. Isa Piccini, 6th place last year. So it can happen. So they do mix it up, and they can, so I'll be very excited to see. I'm excited to see the Laura Lee actually versus Piccini. I follow the bikini a little bit closer now when I'm doing the editing for Buff and everything, so,
Well, the only other competitor I want to mention in bikini, because she's always been very high up at the Arnold bikini, what's that called, the Bikini International and the Olympia, Jennifer Dory. originally from Canada. That's Mark Anthony's longtime girlfriend, and she's got the nice curly black hair. She's good enough to. She could potentially beat all these girls too. She could win this.
Jennifer was second at the Olympia last year.
Okay, well, there you go.
Really, if you want to look at where they stand currently, she's the favorite.
Okay, well, I have no problem with her winning.
I know. The thing is, you've got Issa Bacchini, who's the 2019 Olympic champion. You've got Laura Lee that won Chicago last week.
Yep.
And then you've got Jennifer Dory, whose last contest was second at the Olympia. I mean, that's your top three. Short, and I'd be very shocked if that was not the top three.
Yeah.
So really,
there's another like 30 girls. I don't want to discount anyone. There could be somebody in that lineup.
That's what I'm saying. But I'd be very shocked if that wasn't the top three. But then you never know who else is going to show up. Right.
But yeah, I mean, before we started recording, I was thinking that in no particular order, that's my top three: is Issa, Laura Lee, and Jennifer. Just based on what they've done previously. When you're that good, you've proven yourself at that many shows, the Olympia, the Arnold, and all that. You're tough to beat.
And Jennifer won the Tampa last year.
Correct. Yeah, rightfully so. So that is it. We are going to be doing a play-by-play. Are you in on the play-by-play, or is this one you have to miss?
I think I'm going to go to Fit Expo on Saturday, get some stuff, and then I'm filming Global Sunday. Friday, I'll try and dip in if I can. Yeah, should be able to. Yeah.
Well, I'll be on site with Big Mike Cox. He's going to be helping me out. And of course, Mishko, the mind, Milo Starshev, is going to be with me again. Yeah. So, guys, musculardevelopment.com is the website. No Bull Forum. We're going to have 2021 Tampa Pro play-by-play thread. One main reason is because of my awesome iPhone photography. I sit there right next to Hector.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, Hector takes professional pictures with, like a $10 million camera. I sit right next to him, and that takes hours because they're huge files. It takes a few hours to get all those online. My stuff goes up immediately because we have people like Jen and Chris and Dave. We have people behind the scenes to help me upload those. So you'll see stage shots immediately. I shoot every single division, all the first and second call outs, a lot of the individual posing and stuff. So check all that out. Of course, on this YouTube channel, we'll be having, plenty of interviews, wrap ups, all that good stuff. So follow along. And I know someone's going to ask, and they won't watch the whole video, but where can we see this show? Where's it going to be streaming? Go to timgardnerproductions.com and you can get the pay-per-view. There is no free stream, guys. And if they see anybody trying to stream from the audience, they do the right thing and they go over and they make them stop, because you need to support the show, guys. Support the live stream, the pay-per-view.
You know what? The good thing about this last year or whatever is, it's only this year I started watching. I watched the Olympia live stream last year, but I really enjoy them because, we're at the studio for Global Muscle. We put the curtains around and we link it and we watch it on the TV, and it's really good fun. And they're so well made now.
Yeah.
It's almost, it's not, like I said, it's not as good as being at the event, but I feel like I can really comment and watch and see what's going on, which then gives me, guides me with who I get on Global Muscle and what I write about in my column and everything. So the live streams have really, they've really saved, bodybuilding, really pro bodybuilding. But and also, when is Tim Gardner going to get a break? This guy is just Puerto Rico, Tampa, Chicago.
He's doing Romania again too, right?
I think he's Romania. I think that's Alina Popper, and he's part of the Wings of Strength. Yeah, I think he's part of that one as well.
I think he helps out with that show.
That guy is such a hard-working guy. It's incredible. Fair play that you run good shows, and they're very. And you can tell how good a show is by how many people want to do the show.
Right. And that broke records a couple of years ago. He had over 300 competitors in the show in 2019.
Bro.
Yeah, wow. I don't know how many are in it this year, but it's pages and pages and pages I have to print out of competitors. It's a lot of competitors. So yeah. And it's like I said, it's a show that's known as one of the last chances to qualify. So a lot of people come out, they've been waiting and waiting, but man, I want to get to the Olympia, and they jump into this show. So that always brings up the quality of the lineups.
And you're doing a fantastic job with the show coverage, Ron. You really are. Like I said, I curse you on a Sunday morning when I put my phone on, all the pictures come into WhatsApp, and there's like 600 pictures in my, no, but it's good. I know what it's, obviously I've covered these shows with you, and I know how many, when you're taking photos and you're reporting and doing interviews, it's a lot to do. So good on you, mate. It's very much appreciated.
I never knew how many pictures I actually take at a contest, but after the Chicago Pro, I was at the airport and just clearing my phone because I don't want to keep all those pictures on my phone. And when I went to the recently deleted to permanently delete them, and it would select, and it was 1,200. It was over 1,200 pictures I took.
Wow.
So that means Jen, Chris, Dave, all these people had to upload all those pictures. So thank you guys. They're the ones behind the scenes helping out, doing all that stuff. If I had to do it, I remember when I tried to do it at the same time, I was trying to post them on the website. I get like one picture up per person if I was lucky. Oh, it was so frustrating. So we got a system down, guys. So check it out. And yeah, that's it. That's it. Coverage will be brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. We thank you guys for sponsoring our coverage of the show, the airfare, the flights. It all adds up. We need your help, and we appreciate it very much. That's it, man. So I don't know. You're gonna get me on the Global Sunday morning for a wrap up. I don't know. We'll see.
Yes. Oh yeah. Of course. Yeah. I didn't even. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. I'll message you and we'll get you. Because I'm gonna wait till because I'm gonna have most of my guests lined up. But I sometimes wait until I see the show and watch bits of the show, and then I like these hotel room interviews where you grab them and they're fresh and they've got the trophy and they're still tanned up and it's all it's you kind of get the excitement and the energy and the atmosphere. It's cool. So
the only thing.
The Global's it's going to be out now, isn't it? By the time you watch this. So.
Yeah. The only thing I'm concerned about is Sunday's Muscle Vodka pool party.
Oh.
Because there's this 40% chance of rain right now when I look at the forecast. Please, God, no rain Sunday, please. Because it was a couple of years ago, the whole thing got rained out. You know what? You can't have a pool party when it's pouring rain. So, please, fingers crossed. All right, that's it. Giles Tiger Thomas, thank you so much for your insights and opinions. Always valued. Check out his shows. Not just one. He's got MD Global Muscle. He's also the producer of Buff Bombshells with Lauren Lauder and Emma Heineman, the posing pro. And also produces Nothing But a Podcast on the Ronnie Coleman channel. That's another great show. And the IFBB Hype Show. Is that right, too?
Only Hype Show. Yeah, I'm filming one Thursday and another one on Sunday after Global, right after Global. So, but I feel like with Global, we're on a really, really good run. At the last 5 episodes, I've been so happy with the production and that even when we're filming, everyone's turned up on time. It's been no glitch. I'm probably cursing myself for Sunday now, but at the moment I feel very, very happy with everything we're doing, and Buff's doing amazing. And I love it, mate. I love it. I just, I work on this nonstop and I can't, I'm addicted,
All right. Well, that'll do it. That was our Tampa Pro preview. Giles Tiger Thomas and me, your MD Online editor, Ron Harris. So hope to see you guys all in the play-by-play. Check out our YouTube videos. Who's that? I can't even tell that.
Post training partner.
Oh, is that Brandon? I mean, I didn't want to think of this.
Good luck.
It doesn't have a bobble head, though. The head doesn't move around?
No. He's just wishing Beau good luck. That's all it is.
Oh, right on. Good luck, Beau. All right. So, guys, please check out our coverage this Friday and Saturday. MuscularDevelopment.com and on this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.